Okay, stream should be looking good. Once we're good for the stream, we're going to get into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, there we go. All right, let me just make sure this is looking good and we can get into the game, guys. Yep, still says 0 drop frames on my end. Even Twitch is saying the stream configuration quality is excellent. My computer's running perfectly fine.
Okay, your mouse moved pretty smoothly and the screen's moving pretty smoothly. So let's just do this.
Okay,
I'm ready to go.
We're good? All right, I'm at 8 seconds. Are you at 8 seconds?
I'm at 8 seconds now.
WarGreyMon, you good?
1 second.
Okay, we're going to get into the game. So yeah, talking about the draft there, guys. Sorry about that. The, excuse me, so this is against Glorious Gaming from Kings of the Storm. We're going over specifically this game, Wildfire's games as a whole, but also talking about their unique draft style, where they pick heroes like Diablo, Sergeant Hammer, and obviously there is a Sergeant Hammer in this game. Now, Techie is your Sergeant Ham player. Is he the Sergeant Hammer aficionado, or is there another player on your team that plays him?
Yeah, he's the one that usually plays him. I can play him, but yeah, it's usually him.
Okay, cool.
I just need to load right back in here.
That's cool. No problem, man. No problem. We are going to get into this game here in just a moment. Once he gets set up in there. So, yeah, I mean, you have the Nubarak, you have the Stitches. Obviously, your Stitches is in very, very tanky, high hit pool. You have the Nubarak with the control and everything like that. The map is Dragonshire. I mean, is there a map that Hammer shines on more than any other map, or is it really...
I would say definitely Dragonshire.
Okay, and why is that? Because he's able to set up the mines by the shrines and stuff like that?
More the fact that in mines there's not a lot of rotations going on. Yeah, you have rotations between the shrines, but it's mostly from one lane to the mid. Like let's say, yeah, from like bottom lane to mid lane, and then mid lane to top lane, and you move as a unit. So
okay,
it's a lot easier to protect the team and not have the hammer get caught out.
Okay, cool. I mean, Glorious Gaming's lineup looks fairly standard. What is it in their lineup that made you go, okay, let's get Hammer against X, Y, and Z, and specifically in this match?
Well, they have the Rhaegar, Chen, and then probably so the Rhaegar and the Chen. So that's the double melee, and then usually we'll just usually if it's not Tyrael or Nova, the combo will run with Hammer. Hold on.
Let us know when you are ready, guys. For those of you tuning in, thank you so much. We're good? You're at 8 seconds?
Yep.
Xander, you good, my man?
I'm good. I think you're lagging again.
It looks okay. I mean, I'm looking at the stream right now. It looks fine. Let's try it out. Yeah, it looks good on my end. Okay, cool. Ready? 8 seconds. You good, Xander?
Yep.
I'm good to go.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. So obviously, the first thing I want to talk about is the laning configuration. What do you guys kind of... In this match specifically, what did you focus on with laning and why?
So we since they have an Abathur, they're going to be split pushing mostly top, we assume.
Right.
So what we're going to do, we're going to have our strongest laner, which is, at this moment, I think we put Stitches up there. And then we have a Great Wave clear mid, which is me on Tassadar. So you can have the mid roam down. So you clear the wave, rotate down bottom, and see if you can make any plays happen.
Right.
And then we usually put our healer a damage, and then the other person that's not the strongest laner. So in this case, it was the Nubarak.
Okay, so pretty much standard stuff going on here. I mean, now we've seen so much rise in Abathur. It seems like he came from obscurity, and now he's getting banned first pick by so many different teams. I know Zuna on Cloud9 and a handful of people are like, Abathur is god tier. He's up there with Tychus, Tassadar, and Arthas, and he's just turning into this split push machine. Because it's so funny because so many people are like, split push isn't possible, and now Abathur is literally just like redefining the meta as a whole by being so strong at split push.
So like what happened was all the changes to the minions and the towers in the last patch and the upgrade to promote really helped that.
That is true.
The promote is really absurd. Like you see, we actually lost in the game before this to a triple promote comp, and we just couldn't fight them outright because of the split push. Yeah. So right now, basically, since we have hammer, we can set up mines in this bush in the bottom, and if they go into that bush, it's just basically free damage.
Right. Now, don't forget, WarGreyMon, if you say there's a moment you want to pause and reflect on something specific, let us know, and we'll all pause.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. But right now, this is
My
like
goodness,
standard
siege mode.
Yeah, standard.
stuff. Now, it seems like teams have been really, I mean, obviously there's emphasis on the bottom lane, but sometimes I feel like there's not enough emphasis on the bottom lane. That teams don't take opportunities they have to get ogres. And I mean, is that just me, or do you think that teams are not like finding their opportunities to pick up these ogres?
Yeah, so as soon as you go get ogres, it leaves the bottom lane completely open for the shrine.
Right.
And if you leave that open, there's a moment there where you can actually get the dragon. And that's why people usually wait, just do death pushes, not death pushes, but just push really hard in the bottom lane. And that's why you also get people like great roamers in the mid lane, just to push mid, and then you can rotate to giants when you have the chance.
Now, at what point, because I've asked a lot of people this, and teams always have varying responses to it. At what point do you guys think the Dragon Knight is like worth actually committing more resources to and getting? Because obviously in the early game he just doesn't really do that much. At what point do you think it's like, okay, a Dragon Knight would be good right now?
So that's why we actually like hammer a lot on this map, is because we can take the dragon point at any time and still have a really good siege in the bottom lane without having the Dragon Knight there.
That is a good point. Yeah, Hammer can just pretty much do what Techie's doing, laying down mines. It's like, you guys want to come get this shrine, go for it. You're gonna get destroyed by all of these mines.
Yeah, so it's a win-win situation for us. If they don't bring people up from the bottom lane to deal with the Dragon Knight, usually you bring a ranged carry or something to help deal with that. We'll just have Hammer in the bottom lane pushing, or we'll have the Dragon pushing. So it's almost a win-win.
Okay, cool. Right on, right on. Yeah, I mean, just this Hammer is being so effective at zoning this shrine out. Where it's just like, they want nothing to do with it. And I'm sure they're aware those mines are there. They're not. Oh, yeah. They're a good team. They're like, if we go in there, we're going to get pummeled by these mines. Yeah, Cthulhu just clearing them out, doing what he can, doing what.
And you can see the power of Abathur on the top lane, just like all the ammo's basically gone and the towers are being demolished.
Do you think Abathur is too powerful right now, or do you just think it's the current meta?
Oh yeah, I think he's way too powerful. I think it's mostly promote. I don't think he himself is insane. I think it's mostly promote actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think he's like too strong as a hero. I think it's mostly his talent choices.
Xander, what do you have to? I mean, what's your opinion on what's been going on in this game so far?
I like the idea of having Sergeant Hammer in the bottom lane, as you were saying, is that if you decide to go for that dragon in mid, you're just not really sacrificing push potential that you have in the bottom lane, and that usually is such a heavily contested lane too. And again, Sergeant Hammer, I feel like even by herself, she has a little, definitely you have to worry, just positioning wise, if you're playing with the siege mode, just because if you're sitting down there, you can easily get jumped, but you're not playing with siege mode as it like super dependent with this build that you guys are going. So it's actually, I like that a lot. I like that a lot so far in the way that you guys are playing this. My other question then too is that, do you ever find any moments too where you actually, like, is there any moment in these fights where you find like sieging might actually be viable, or like you actually might want to go for it, or are you just totally content always doing the damage that you need to when in without being in siege mode? Like if it's a team fight, let's say, because I know like right now you're pushing and you're sieging up, because that's fine, but I'm saying in a team fight, would you do that?
Yeah. So when we have the Dragon Knight normally and our Dragon Knight's in the back, that's usually when we siege up, because we feel our hammer's pretty safe. And she can just use her Z anyway, and she's actually get pretty good movement speed from that. Since she doesn't have a normal mount, she gets pretty fast from her Z. So she can actually have pretty good escape, and with the knockback mines when played in the game. We don't have to worry about protecting her at all.
Now, when you go against the hammer in this sort of situation, what if you're a team and you're facing Wildfire, you're facing your own team, and you pick hammer? What do you need to do to deal with this hammer? What are kind of the weaknesses and the things that you need to jump on as far as playing against this sort of playstyle?
Yeah. So early game, she's really weak early game, and she doesn't have a mount, so she's viable to like Arthas and Kerrigan, even Chen. So it's basically just early game. She's really weak early game.
Yeah.
So what I'd be looking for is trying to gank her repeatedly over and over. Try to push as hard as you can. Like if I was Abathur, I'd probably would have been counter pushing our lane actually.
Yeah.
Once we get like, if I guess Abathur has like on the walls and towers down top lane, but I probably would have countered it.
So that's what an Abathur do. What he does. So it seems like.
Can you find? Do you ever find that actually, like, if you're getting a lot of counter push in a lane with an Abathur, can you move the would it ever be viable to move the hammer up there to kind of counter that? Because I mean, Siege tank herself is able to actually deal with that push pretty well. And I was even watching the Napalm strike. It's on such a low cooldown. Like, it's actually got really good lane clear as well for you. So on top of Siege mode,
it really helps with those promoted minions for sure.
So would you ever find yourself doing that to deal with the promoted minions or the push that's coming out of Abathur? Or would you just keep yourself in a separate lane and let the rest of your team deal with that themselves?
I think Hammer's pretty good by herself, or not good by herself. We usually try to put people who can survive lane or have escapes in a lane. So if they get ganked, they're able to either get away or have someone there to get the XP, because the XP in the early game is so crucial.
I'm just looking at the numbers real quick. You're about to be level 13. So that's really when Hammer starts to do a lot of work. Is at level 13, 16 when she gets those Spider-Mine talents. I mean, looking at her damage right now, she's done. Tinky on that hammer has done more damage than anyone else on the entire map. She has about 4,000 damage over fall stat. I mean, we're 8 minutes into the game.
Yeah, she's doing the same Tazadar and Tychus's damage combined, so
that's so absurdly good. Like, I mean, how much does she, I mean, does her right click scale that well, or is it just the spider mines, or what is it that gives her so much of that damage?
So we've like been looking at like the damage meters, and a little bit is fake damage because it's obviously AoE damage, and not just single target damage. But
it sounds like WoW right now.
Right?
What's your single target damage DPS, man? Jeez.
Yeah.
But it's like her Napalm strike does a lot of damage, the impact and the actual ticks that if you get from standing in it.
Who is the drafter for ESV Wildfire?
Is it
a group thing, or is it just like I'm the captain, I'm drafting? Because you know some teams it's a group thing where they all kind of put their ideas into one box and go from there. Some teams it's like I'm the captain, I'm the one drafting. This is what's happening no matter what. Like a team like that, actually, like the Na'Vi, the international winning Na'Vi when they got second place, Puppy would literally just pick stuff, and the team really wouldn't have a say in it, and they'd be like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean?
So what we do, we usually group as a team or draft as a team, and when we ever have an argument about what we should pick, if it's like we need a range damage, we'll go to the range. Like me, we'll be like, oh, Joey, what do you think? Or WarGreyMon, what do you think? We need like a Vala, a Tychus, Tazadar. What do you think we need here? And then we'll get that input, and then we'll ask the tank, oh, do you think Stitches? Do you think an Uberak or whatever? But usually it's a group effort, and then we usually agree on the same thing.
Okay. Hammer doesn't seem like a very good hero to pick up the dragon.
No, not really.
That's what I thought.
Well, she can probably zone really well for you, so you can grab it, but she's not going to be able to pick it up.
No, yeah. I think we got her once, but...
That's true. So right now, I mean, we're at 10 minutes. This game has been kind of a not very action-packed game. It's only 3 kills to 1. You guys are up by a whole entire level. Obviously, you have 2 kills. You've obviously gotten 2 forts, while Glorious has only gotten 1. So that kind of explains the discrepancy between the levels. And now you're level 16. Now you guys are probably going, okay, we're level 16. And you guys actually went Stone Skin at 16 this match instead of the increased spider mines.
I feel like that makes sense with the damage that's there.
Agreed, yeah.
So we figured that, like, hold on, so, like 11:30, there's a fight. Go back to it.
at 11:30 when I go to that fight, because I was actually watching a lot of that too. And again, I watched a lot of heals go down on top of the hammer, but I also saw the shield go down too. So having the first aid on yourself with having the support on your team too, that she can stay in that fight a lot longer than she normally can.
So
just
before that actually... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So before the actual fight actually happens, Hammer gets caught because that's just what Hammer is. But you see at like 11:36, Hammer is like I thought she sieged up. But basically she's just staying around me and the healer, and she can basically infinite heals and infinite peels. We also have the nut mines, which helped.
Right. Oh, and there you go. Techie getting...
Yeah, you just turn around. You and Techie are doing a ton of damage to Syracuse. Is like you didn't even get a chance to do anything.
Hey, what minute are you guys at? What's your time mark right now?
I'm at 11:46.
11:46? The replay time or the match time?
Match time.
The match time is...
Oh, no. I'm at the replay time.
Oh,
but the match
11:40.
time
Okay,
is 11.
somehow I got ahead of you guys. I'm at 12:42.
That's okay. I rewinded and just went back to that point.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
yeah, you guys come out of that fight. And it's not like you guys aren't using siege mode either. You're just using it to siege.
Yeah.
Like you're using it for what it's named for. Like
exactly.
Makes total sense.
But when you're fighting Abathur comps, Abathur basically is one of the best late game because of the split push. But so you're gonna want to try it, and that's why we also pick Hammer when they pick Abathur, is because she has amazing push potential.
And I feel like this, just like extrapolate on this a little bit, like this is not something I would say. Let's say this is solo queue, right? And the average player is watching.
Yeah.
This is not something to bring to that table because this is highly dependent on your team actually working together with this competition, working with the way you're building this hero.
Yes.
Right. And yeah, I mean you're in the dragon, and the moment you're out of the dragon, it's like, hey, what's up, Spider-Man?
Yeah. Right.
So as a team fight here, you guys are about to take the keep super low. You're punching on the keep dragon. Big team fight going down here. I'm just watching the play on Hammer and looking at how Techie's gonna like.
Yeah, we actually have the Hammer and the dragon.
Well, right now the Hammer is a dragon, so.
Yes. Well, I'm a little ahead of you guys.
Okay.
There we go.
So basically, right now we're just like realizing that we don't need to go in. All we need to do is poke. The dragon, I can just finish off that keep if we need to.
And with the amount of time left on the dragon too, you don't want to get too aggressive because Sergeant Hammer's got to get herself out of there. Who's talking almost getting.
Basically, as soon as Hammer gets caught, she uses her Z, which increases her movement speed, and she basically cannot be touched until it's over.
Right. Now we're going to look at once the game is over. It looks like obviously you guys, this is just a winning push for you guys here. You got mid keep. You're out of the Dragon Knight. You're just pushing down mid lane. I want to look at the numbers as far as damage goes, specifically for Sergeant Hammer. You guys played so well there. I mean, Glorious looks like they were on the back foot the whole entire time. The Hammer did so much work in bottom. The Hammer pretty much secured bottom lane from the moment the gates dropped. Bottom lane was your territory. There's nothing you can do. And like you said, that's one of the reasons why you picked Sergeant Hammer on this map, is because it really allows you guys to get a strong foothold in bottom lane or whatever lane you feel like pushing and dominating. That's where Hammer goes, and it worked really, really well this game.
Yeah, we also feel that Abathur, we usually ban Abathur, but we didn't feel like he's that good on this map.
Right.
For that specific reason that you cannot put 3 people in bottom lane, and that we could push bottom lane and basically win that lane.
Okay.
And we basically always have shrine control as well, so we could either get early Dragon Knights and snowball our lead from there.
Yeah.
As I was saying too, even if you have to send somebody out of that lane, I really like Sergeant Hammer in that lane as opposed to like an Abathur. The second somebody decides to counter that, it's gonna go down, and then he can't really sit there and even hold the tower. It's like if you see a counter coming to that lane that you're pushing in, with the Hammer there, she's put down mines. She's probably in siege mode. Somebody can get down there quick enough to at least help or aid in holding that fort. Yeah. So it gives you good presence with the hero that you have, but also great pushing potential too from that hero. As opposed to, I feel like with an Abathur, you have really great pushing potential, but the second somebody gets aggressive against that, you kind of fall apart because you can't do anything even remotely for a short period of time by yourself. You have to leave immediately.
Yeah, you guys like bullied Glorious that whole entire match. I mean, look at the total kill count: 6 kills to 2. Like it's like Glorious was afraid to commit to any team fight, and every time they did get to commit to a team fight, they just got wiped out. I'm looking at the end numbers here. Now that the replay is over, you guys obviously won. Very well played. Sergeant Hammer did 31,000 damage in 13 minutes and 41 seconds. Pretty absurd. Yeah. You did, a decent amount of siege damage, 90,000. That's nothing impressive. I mean, that is pretty good. The Abathur only did 62k. Usually an Abathur should do more than that, right? But also Tassadar did 90k. Obviously you on the Tassadar did 93,000 siege damage. But that's because you guys did so much more building Rex anyways. Yeah. The game was kind of a one-sided, so you're going to see like the siege damage being skewed on one side if it's more of a stop.
Yeah.
But specifically the hero damage, man. You did 31,000. The next closest is on your team, Stitches and Tassadar, 25,000. And then, I mean, the Tychus over on Glorious did 24. That's pretty absurd. I mean, people don't realize how much damage Hammer does with the Spider Mines and with his...
yeah. And I think...
everything else.
Yeah, and I think that, as Iacon is actually saying in chat, the Stitches damage is actually pretty insanely high for Stitches.
That's absurd.
The fact that he's doing, like, more damage than the Tychus is pretty insane.
Tell me how you build Stitches. Tell me now.
It's the slam build. So it's basically you take almost everything on the let's see here, what do you take? Yeah, he basically put everything on his slam build. W.
He did.
And then I think he went Gorge? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that I've definitely seen that before, people going with that. How do you feel, just to go off on a little tangent here, how do you feel about Stitches right now in the game? Because we asked, last week we talked to Dreadnought about it a little bit too, and he was saying, see why he's getting weaker, but also just want to get another team's perspective on the seeing a lot less of him at all, pretty much.
I think it's just like the same way that people like strayed away from Hammers, because just because she got nerfed in one area doesn't mean she's good in the other. So Stitches got nerfed on basically his hook gorge sprint thing.
Right.
But
yeah, that was huge. That was so broken. That was so,
but they never
that
changed.
Was dumb.
Yeah, it was. I agree. But they never changed. They never changed his W build, and it's still very strong. AOE stuns and just a certain amount of damage. So I think we don't prioritize him as much, because there are just so many better tanks out there, and but if we feel like the moment's right, for sure we'll pick up a Stitches. We're not afraid from picking him up. His hook gorge sprint. Thing.
Okay, so next I want to talk about, I don't know if I have a replay from this, but how the idea for, and this is going back to originally what you guys did that kind of made people turn their heads a little bit, was the Diablo pick.
Yes, that was
what was the idea? What was the idea behind going with Diablo as opposed to the other choices for tanks that you guys had in there, and how have you guys been playing him build wise too? We can go over that as well if you'd like to.
Yeah. So basically, we've always been running Stitches ever since like the creation of Wildfire, I guess you could say. That's Poom's favorite hero, and we've always thought his peel was good. He's a great peel tank. The AoE stun, which we used to use him for, but now we use the Fire Breath occasionally since they buffed it. I don't know. We've always been using him. We never thought he fell off at all. Obviously, there are better tanks, but we've always used it, basically.
Yeah. So talking about Diablo now too, then how did you come to the choice to use him as the tank then in those games too that you guys are picking him up? Because I don't believe you guys took Stitches in a lot of those early games when you were starting to use Diablo more often too.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of it came with, and it seemed like a lot of it came with the changes to Lightning Breath, where that damage is all front end as opposed to later on. And so you guys actually were making really great use of the zoning and damage that came out of that ability, now that it actually puts that damage out in at a pretty fast pace.
Yeah. So when you have teams that are forced to engage upon you, and like let's say a Bloodlust comp, Lightning Breath is really good because they can't like get out of it, because they like what are they gonna do, like not wait it out and then have Bloodlust down? It's on a pretty short cooldown as well. You can use it almost every team fight and even skirmishes before that.
Let's go over a build you guys do on Diablo real quick, specifically if you don't mind. We'll cut to that right here. I got it all set up. Who's the Diablo player on your team anyways? Do you have more than one, or?
No, it's just Poom.
Just Poom? Poom bringing the Diablo Poon?
Exactly.
Skadoosh. So, I mean, obviously Diablo, and also let's talk about, not only you guys obviously play Diablo, but the opinions on the change to him. Like, obviously Breathe Fire was changed where it did basically the same amount of damage, but it did it quicker.
Mm-hmm.
It did it faster.
Yeah.
There was a lot of varying opinions on that. Some people thought it was better.
It's
some people didn't
that
think it
initial
was.
the initial burst of damage
Yeah.
happens much faster with it now. So
Yeah.
you actually, which I think makes a lot of sense because that's a thing. Like when you look at abilities like that, I feel like it's as soon as the team sees it go down, they're immediately going to try to distance themselves from it. So
Exactly.
if you put the
So
damage more spread out over time, they're going to just move out of it and it's never going to do anything.
Exactly. So I thought it was a pretty good change for him.
Yeah, and you guys showed to great effect too. That as long as you can pull people into that too. Now, what do you combo this with usually with your builds or with your composition to make sure they stay in that and it stays viable and it works and it gets the damage out that it needs to? Like, who do you usually combo Diablo with?
So it's interesting because it's really not a spell you can combo it with.
Okay.
It's more relying on the other team to engage upon you and staying in, not being able to disengage. So having the lockdown, probably so like an Uther, like with a Divine Storm, Fire Breath, that would be pretty good.
Okay.
I guess I can't really think of any other spells that would help synergize with Fire Breath or Lightning Breath. I guess maybe Tassadar Force Wall if you're willing to go that, but
if you're feeling squirrely.
But it's more of like relying on the other team to engage upon you. I would have to say.
Okay, so you're going to play then relatively, I would say, like defensively when it comes to the team fight scenarios. You want them to come at you, and as soon as they do that, they're going to suffer for it. So what? Just to expand on that then too, like what if you are seeing them not get aggressive against it because they know to be aware of this and to worry about it? What is your option there? Like, what do you then choose to do with the Diablo?
Well, he's a pretty good engage. Like he can charge someone, throw him back, and then just like have like you can zone with them as well. Like if they don't want to, you can basically separate the team fight where it's you fire breath in the middle team, and like you have their whoever probably their tank in the back, our back line, and you have the Diablo zoning with the fire breath, and you can just kill their tank, their front line, without having to worry about it because they don't want to get damaged. By
so then you just get Diablo again fits that role as you were saying with his kick and his flip. He's actually able to then get aggressive. So then you'll just put yourself in. So it seems like what you're saying too is you don't have to really play to one side. You can just play the Diablo, do his strength. They have really no choice but to initiate on it, which is I've seen before, and I've kind of thought myself too, is that like he has so much presence there himself that if like you have to deal with it, and he forces you to go up against him. So without further ado, let's jump into how you would build this Diablo and why.
Yep.
So looking at the talents right now in tier 1, what is your choice usually?
So I believe that he takes I believe he takes the Soul Feast.
Okay.
It's like it's pretty standard.
Wasn't that nerfed or was it buffed? I don't remember. It was changed. Wasn't it?
He has less souls, I think, that he can hold.
That's right. They lowered the amount of souls, so overall you can't get as much. Okay, that's right.
But he's still the strongest skill, I feel like.
Absolutely, it's stupid good.
Here.
So we usually have to leave Diablo. If we take Diablo, we have to leave him in the lane, or else he won't get tanky.
Right.
And then he's kind of a little bit useless. I don't want to say useless, but he's not as useful as other tanks.
Right.
But yeah.
He's not a roamer. He has to sit there and souls.
And he's actually
gets the benefit from Soul Feast.
Yeah, and he's actually a pretty decent laner as well. Not the best, but he can hold up.
Right.
The next one we take on level 4 is Amplified Healing.
Yep.
I think it's mostly pretty standard on all tanks if they have it. Then I believe he
Endless
takes,
Death, I assume.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember that one. But I believe
that's what Iacona was saying in chat. Thankfully, he jumped on that for us. Is that they nerfed the level 7 talent, which is now it's not 200, it's 150.
That's right.
So he can't max out to 200. But yeah, I feel like in that tree, even everything else, I think that's the clear way to go. That just adds to his tankiness. If you don't take more souls pairing with level 1, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. As we've seen here, you guys usually take at level 10 then the lightning breath. Yeah, do you ever when you're in a game, is it optional?
Yeah, it actually completely is. So if we have like lockdown, like usually if we have an Uther and they do not have an engage comp, we'll go APOC. Usually, honestly, we go lightning breath very rarely. It's more of like, as I was saying, a zoning and a let them engage on us, and then we can get free damage on them. APOC is so good that it's hard. It's actually hard to take lightning breath, even for us. if we can combo that with like a Void Prism, with APOC or an Uther Divine Storm. Honestly, it depends on the comp that they're running and then what you're running as well.
Okay, so give us a situation where you would pick Lightning Breath up, like a more specific situation.
Well,
Where
Yeah.
I think you were saying too that it's actually like if they have something that's more hard engaged.
Yeah, so like if they have Ethereal, Chin, even Arthas, Lightning Breath is great against the ghouls. It basically burns them, and then basically wasted Arthas ult. It's great for zoning. Let's say their Tyrael engages, the Diablo charges in, and then just Lightning Breath zone. I believe we won it against Symbiote with it because the level 20 talent Hellstorm
it's just
is
like
insane, and
it's like global range for
yeah, right, and
like,
you can't escape it. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. At level 20, I would assume, judging by the other options too, that's what you're gonna take with that. That range just makes it even better at what it already does really well. So yeah. So let's assume for the sake of this that we're going through this build, you're going to take the Lightning Breath. We'll go through the rest of the build from here. So then level 13, what are you going to take here? I know Relentless is something people usually go towards.
yeah. So unless they have a Nova on their team, we take Relentless. Spell Shield right now is really good against Nova. It's actually a must get. It's a must get on any hero. Like even if you're a tank. It's just way too good. Level 16, we take the Firestorm, which the fire returns the Diablo. It's just more extra damage.
Yeah, it's interesting because Nexus Champ, who also plays Diablo, and actually picked it from you guys the last time you picked a couple weeks ago. That was pretty cool. I don't think it worked out too well for him. But they get the continuous overpower at level 16. What do you think is like the advantages and disadvantages of each? Do you think one is just supremely better than the other, or is it just situational?
So I think maybe if you're not engaging, which Diablo usually is, and if you're more playing as a peel tank, continuous overpower would be better.
Okay.
But if you're engaging, there's no reason to overpower twice because usually you're trying to throw them back into your team. So if you're like have another charge, there's no point to do it again.
Right.
I felt so bad for them today too. I believe that they played Diablo in one of their games. Sorry to interrupt, but they played it. I think somebody kicked somebody towards the Falstad that was on their team.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
For it, and I was just like, "Oh no, why would you do that?" I felt so bad. But yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I thought it was just like really sad. I was like, "No."
I mean, dealing 150% more damage is pretty good. So it's just a little extra burst that Diablo can do unexpectedly if people aren't ready for it.
Do you have any replays you might be able to show off for us to show off their Diablo play? Perchance?
Perchance.
That would be great, because I would love to see, because you guys, like, you're literally the only team who picks Diablo and is successful with it. I know Glorious Gaming used to pick Diablo, but that was when Kerrigan was horrendously broken, and that was when Diablo could get 1,000,000 HP pre-nerf and stuff like that. That was a couple months ago. Obviously, the meta is changing. Every single patch is just never now. Now Abathur's terrible and Lily's amazing and Nova's okay.
In general, I feel like this happens in most games. It's like the second something changes, everyone just makes these insane, like, they're like, this is what happens. And if there's somebody who's really well known for being really good at the game, they obviously have a great knowledge of the game, but like, and I'm not just talking about heroes, I'm talking about everything across the board. It's like, and then immediately everyone's just like, well, that's the truth, and that's what happens, and that's why he's bad. And then it's just like, takes a little while, and then people who are brave enough to be like, well, you know what, I really got nothing to lose. I really want to just try this and see if it works. End up showing, and then they put out a video, they're like, no, this still works. Or no, this actually works and you can play this character, they're pretty viable. There was a lot of outcry against Rhaegar, I remember even too, just to go back on it. When he first came out, they're like, I wasn't going to be that great of a healer. He didn't bring much to the table. And then as soon as people started showing, you can throw Bloodlust in with an auto attack comp, this is going to be insane. And then it was just like, everybody was like, wow, it's actually really good. It's Bloodlust with it. Auto attack comp is really good, and then people were like, oh, ancestral healing though, the delay, it's not really good. And people were like, oh, it's too slow. And then they're like, doesn't matter the garbage. It doesn't matter the delay. It's super fucking good. It's a huge heal. So like it kills me every time. I always think that's funny when you're watching it, but then people have to slowly work their way into like fixing it if like one or two people are like, it's just bad, and it's just like, oh. But yeah, so I'm glad again. That's why I love casting your games too. You guys always are bringing something. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I loved when you guys picked Murden though that one time because we just sat there and Shane and I were screwing with us. That's what this is.
Why? I know, Icona, you're watching.
We just took it and we were like, well, you know what?
At what point did you guys go? You're in the draft. You're all sitting there like, oh, what about that? What about that? What about that? It's just like, fuck it, Murden. Like at what point you're just like, hey, let's do it.
He was talking about it earlier as to why they decided to choose the Murden over other choices.
Yeah, a bunch of tanks got banned. They picked up 2 tanks. I think it was like either between, I don't know, I forget what it was, but
Sonya.
Yeah, probably Sonya. And
she got nerfed because she was so much fun to watch. Oh, like I like Sonya, but then they nerfed the shit out of her.
I think it's really so much of it's in like the front end damage that she used to do with the seismic slam. Like she was so much so like the bruiser to me. Like she was the epitome of like what I felt.
Lay it down, son.
And as soon as they brought that back, they buffed up her whirlwind to give her more healing on it, but they took away that damage from the seismic slam, and then I felt like she couldn't brawl. And she really had no way to continue doing that in a team fight, and then she just completely fell off.
Yeah, she suffered from the fact that you could just burst her instantly as soon as she went in.
Yeah.
And she couldn't heal back up fast enough.
Oh god, can you imagine playing Sonya now against Nova?
Oh
dude,
god.
Oh god, that'd be awful, dude. It wouldn't even be a it just be and you'd be dead.
She'd snipe you in midair. You wouldn't even land. She'd snipe you out of the sky.
Exactly. Next level shit going on there.
I can't find a replay of a Diablo.
That's totally fine. So I guess the next thing we can go over is just for fun. So I guess as getting close to a final note on this is how you guys decided to choose Murden.
Yes, please.
So we've been...
what were the way that you build them? How did you work with them?
So we've been in some scrims, and Poom and Pickles have always been like, yeah, Murden is not the best, but he can be used. And we've been trying to find new ways in certain team comps and situations that we can use him. I think for his advantages, we use Haymaker, which pushes a champion or a hero in a direction. And we found that pushing like Arthas on like Cursed Mines through a wall and not being able to help team fight is pretty helpful.
Okay. Wait, you say Cursed Mines or the Haunted Hollow?
The Cursed Hollow.
Cursed Hollow. Okay, thank you.
Even though that should be a map, the Cursed Mines.
The Cursed Mines.
I've said that so many times. I've said that so many times while casting. I'm just like, Cursed Mines.
The Cursed Terror and the Haunted...
That's not what it is.
The Haunted Bay and Blackheart's Shrine. And I don't know what's happening.
Blackheart's Dragon, dude. Blackheart's Dragon.
Blackheart's Dragon. An undead pirate dragon.
That needs to be a thing right now. Blizzard,
make it
happen.
Not be a thing? An undead pirate dragon.
As we were saying, so you found a few small... like small uses that you actually felt worked really well, and the reason you guys were choosing him was just because he filled that role. And I feel like a lot of the choices you guys are making and looking at some of these heroes is it does throw a wrench into the way people are used to playing. So if you can throw something in there that they're not used to playing against, I feel like that is just giving you guys an advantage off the bat when you go into a game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Murden suffers from like early mana problems if he spams the spells. He's not in. He doesn't scale well. Incredibly tanky. Unless he gets Avatar, which we don't really consider a great ult. Yeah.
Can you go over the talents real quick if you know them?
Yeah.
I have it up here. That'd be great.
So level 1, we get reverb. Usually, if they have like a Vala or mostly like any 2+ range carries.
That in conjunction with really hot shots. You'd be like auto attack.
Oh yeah, it's really good against.
Come back, take a shower, come back, auto attack. All right, I'm gonna go pick up the kids. Come back, auto attack.
Exactly. I think our other player sometimes picks up Perfect Storm.
Okay, I can see that.
Sometimes, but I think we usually stick to this build. If we're pushing on level 4, we go with Sledgehammer. Like maybe if they have an Abathur and we need extra power. It does insane amount of damage to structures. But I think we usually just normal build. We go the crowd control.
Okay.
You're able. Usually we'd put a Murd in a soul lane, so it just helps them clear minions faster.
Yeah, it makes the cooldown if you hit like minions and a hero, makes it like a 2-second
Yeah,
cooldown or something stupid. There's a fa-pam, fa-pam. But
Yeah.
touching on the mana problem, I'm sure if you're spamming it that much, you'll probably run out of
Exactly.
mana. The one
Yeah,
I want to
exactly.
know about is level 7 because it has a whole bunch of pretty good talents
Yeah.
on there.
So we actually think like he doesn't have that many good talents on this, and we
On
assume
level
the best
7?
one. Yeah.
Really? Even
Like,
okay.
So we think that like Stormbolt's the best one. We wish that maybe landing momentum was a little bit better.
Okay.
But usually we take Stormbolt for that extra stun.
Okay. Anyway,
Gotcha.
ultimates or heroics, whatever you want to call them, we've already talked about.
Yeah.
You generally get Haymaker just because it's a great displacement. It does a decent
Yeah.
amount of damage as well, and it's a really low.
I'm just
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say the only reason that makes me sad is because I literally love the avatar on the Mangy Bronzebeard Murden skin because he turns him into diamond, and it just makes me sad. I just have to put that out there so people know this.
I would say if you're running a bloodless comp, actually, Haymaker or Avatar is pretty decent. You can get some almost a decent amount of stuns off if you're running that Avatar.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't think about that. How about this? How about this? Hold on. Just bear with me here. Bear with me here.
Mhm.
Muradin,
Here we go.
Tychus, Abathur, Illidan, Rhaegar.
There we go.
Metamorphosis, Avatar. You have two avatars. You use Ultimate Evolution on Muradin.
Oh,
you got two
there you
fucking
go.
avatars.
Oh.
And you got Illidan Metamorphosis. And then you have a goddamn Odin. And then you go Bloodlust. And you just... Blah, 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 blah. I want to see it happen. Make it happen.
Stop the enemy
Next
team.
time you face Symbiote on Garden Terror, that's the team you're choosing. Don't
All
care.
right, here we go.
You just got
Okay.
wrecked, War.
Sorry, Iacona. It's happening.
It's happening.
I'm drafting for you.
I'm-
You're going to first pick Muradin. Okay? It'd be great. It'd be phenomenal. It'd be phenomenal. Okay, moving on. Level 13.
Can you guys
Where do
just
go?
play Murky? Everybody play Murky? Just a whole
Who played
team.
Murky again? I don't remember. Was it Nexus Champ or was it?
Yeah,
it was Nexus
Champ.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that was. I literally was just like, that had to be a misclick.
It
So
had-
for level 13, what do you guys usually choose?
Rewind. The double stun is way
Yeah.
too good.
That's way
It's
too
just-
good.
yeah.
What if there is
Maybe-
a Nova?
That's a good question. I would probably
Oh.
still probably have to take the rewind.
Really?
Honestly, Like,
Well, I feel like you have the option just because he fits the tank role. So, like, as much as it sucks and you'd like to have the spell shield, he's somebody who can sacrifice it, I would say. Especially with his health regen.
and with the next talent, which is the Dwarf launch, which increases the range. If they have a Nova, it'd be good to take that. You could probably jump on her and then do like a
That is true.
stun
I can
rewind stuff.
see Muradin fucking Novas up, man.
I can
Like
see it
Muradin
too.
actually being really good against Nova.
That's maybe.
I don't know. I'm
one
not
day.
a professional
Some-
player. I'm
we
just
get
saying.
that.
Now the
So-
thing, level 16. Hold on, I'm curious. Hold on, level 16. Dwarf launch superior to heavy impact.
Yeah.
What if there's like a vol and you can like heavy impact? Like, I mean, is there situations where heavy impact is viable, or is it almost always dwarf launch?
So the thing is, like, his range isn't really good to begin with, and heavy and Dwarf launch makes it even better.
Okay.
I think if you're trying to get on Avala, you're not going to be able to even hit her anyway.
Because the range sucks.
Yeah, the range sucks, and she has a vault. But I think you have a better chance of Dwarf launching
Okay.
for sure.
Now these two talents used to be on different tiers back
They
in the
did.
day, and that actually
Yeah.
I mean, if they made those two talents on different tiers, do you think that would obviously would make him better? Would that increase his
think-
viability and we'd actually see him more?
I think it would definitely help. I'm not sure if it would. His health scaling is still really bad, unfortunately. But I think if they maybe improved his health scaling and then maybe changed that talent, I think he could be
And also,
maybe.
sorry, let me interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he could maybe start seeing his way into the competitive scene a little bit more.
I just think he's so great for positioning. Like everything that he does so well is positioning himself to screw with the enemy team in such a hard way. His leap, his haymaker, everything. It's just like if you don't,
No.
I'm gonna make you be where you don't want to be, and that's my
Yeah.
job. And it's just
Hey.
get in your face. And that's why you were saying it's so good against the Nova. Like Nova's gonna keep herself safe. She's gonna keep herself in a pocket. But if you have a tank that can jump himself in there, that's why I think Judgment is so great on Tyrael. Like, that's the best thing. It doesn't matter what you say. I'm auto-attacking onto you and sitting right on top of you and putting myself next to you. So if you could use something like that, and I think the great thing over that with this is that you don't even have to pull them out of stealth. You just can jump onto wherever they are.
Yep.
So like if you could actually fix his health, as you said, the scaling of his health, and actually fix around some of these abilities, I think it'd be really good, especially with the way that is going now.
Can I lay this on you guys real quick?
Let's
Resurgence of the
hear it.
Storm gets nerfed. Okay. Then they give Muradin Bolt of the Storm.
Whew.
Think about that.
That could be
Bolt of
actually
the
very
Storm
good.
and a Haymaker?
Honestly, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, you'd have to wait till level
Can you
20,
imagine just
but
like,
You sure for Blizzard?
running along, hey, hey, doop, and then Muradin just blinks on top of you and just whoop-bam! And like, that would be amazing.
It'd be pretty sick.
That'd be amazing.
Maybe.
Blizzard.
Didn't he get that?
Bolt of the Storm. Or
Should we get
just
rid
make
of
it like...
Storm?
make it...
Give us
Let's get rid of
jobs.
that talent.
It's so bad. Can you imagine? Why would you ever get Fury of the Storm on Muradin? Like, why would you... give him Bolt of the Storm. Please. Please give
Maybe you're
Muradin Bolt of the
talent
Storm. Please. That'd be so amazing, dude. Just blink, dick punch. Blink, dick punch.
You'd probably be
amazing.
a little bit more, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely. So I want to touch really quickly too on this. Is that in terms of the meta right now, where you see compositions on teams and what they're taking in terms of like 2 tanks, whatever. What do you guys usually like to run? How are you guys playing yourself, or what do you like to play yourself, like personally? What kind of composition do you like to see? Because there's, I mean, it obviously depends situationally.
Yeah.
What do you guys favor as your strength?
Usually when we go into a comp, we like look at our champions. We've been doing this more recently because we failed it out in the past. We try to get as much, not a lot of CC, but we try to get at least a few stuns, because right now I think Heroes is if you have more stuns, you'll probably win team fights. I'm saying that hesitantly, but we try to get as much stuns as possible, or much CC. We look for what hero synergize, like Tyrael Nova, Tyrael Falstad, Falstad Brightwing, stuff like that. And then we look at how many melee champions we have. We'd never we want to get 3. Like that's probably as most as we'd go.
Okay.
Maybe exceptions, but we usually only try to get 3 melee champions.
Yeah, I can see that becoming a problem.
Yeah.
Big time.
Winter drafting, we usually don't like to pick 2 of the same thing at once, but obviously situational.
Right.
So
Now,
all right, well,
I have a question from chat because I also want to know. What shampoo do you use?
What shampoo?
Yes.
We're in
the non-judge zone. We're in the non-judgmental zone. Okay.
Fructis. Is that what it is?
If you use herbal essences,
Garnier Fructis,
Yes, I use that.
Fructis.
the green bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, see, Xander, you use that, right?
Wait, the green bottle. Wait, it might be yellow.
You use hacks? You
Axe.
hack your hair? Are you a robot?
Axe. It's
What? Okay, what?
Oh my
shampoo
god.
do you use?
Axe.
WarGreyMon.
Axe. Oh, WarGreyMon. Keep going.
Oh, Garner Fructis. I'm not joking. I wasn't joking.
Shakadoo! Awesome.
Nightmare asked that question. That's all.
Nightmare, thank you for giving us
Nightmare, I love you, Nightmare.
that
So
question.
at this point, I feel pretty solid here. If anybody has any questions from chat,
Please.
or specifically related to Heroes, now we know about his shampoo, but specifically relating to Heroes, to what he's playing and how he's playing. If anybody has any questions,
or
let
if
them know.
you want to ask personal questions, I'm totally down to ask them.
I'm down.
Totally down
I'm
to
reading
ask
chat
them.
as well.
Let me give you some questions I always love asking players that come on the game. Kind of like the James Lipton questions for any of you inside of the Actors Studio question, but a little more stimulating, if you will. If you could play any Skype, stop freaking out. There we go. If you could play any game professionally besides Heroes of the Storm, what game would it be and why?
Whew. I don't know. Probably. I don't know. Maybe League of Legends. Maybe StarCraft. I think maybe StarCraft.
Okay.
Did you play StarCraft previously?
I suck at StarCraft.
Okay. I know that feel, bro.
Hey, I was low master. Terran, Wings of Liberty.
You know,
How
I
was,
replaced my wallet. I replaced my wallet at BlizzCon with the. I used to have this, the StarCraft wallet, when I was playing back in the day. And I went there at BlizzCon this year. It's like, well, maybe they have a Heroes one, and I'll grab the Heroes one. They don't. So this is my formal request to Blizzard is next year talk to Jinx and can you guys please make a Heroes wallet so I can have a wallet appropriate to what I do in my life now? Because this worked when I played StarCraft.
Nope.
But not anymore, Blizz. So please get on that.
How do you think your game against Talent will go next week? I don't know if you watched the game today. Talent Gaming Team No Breaks.
Yeah.
They actually looked pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's not like, oh my gosh, they're symbiote, but they look like they're doing better than like the other lower tier teams.
Yeah, so I don't know if the bracket's changing because Glorious and EG haven't changed or played their game yet. I'm not sure if that's a thing or if the bracket's locked in.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know someone had some issue come up, and that's why those games weren't able to be played.
Mm-hmm. But if if the brackets don't change, I think Talent Gaming, I think it's No Breaks.
Yeah, it used to be No Breaks, now it's Talon, and it's not Talon, it's like Talon, like a claw with a T at the end.
Okay, the way I think of it is like this: when people say "stronk" instead of "strong," I just keep thinking they're saying "talent" instead of "talent." It's like he's got such good talent.
But
that's how I assume.
I don't think we've been able to play them in HPL. I think it was before our cousin games came out. But I don't want to sound elitist, but I think we'll probably win the game.
Throw some confidence.
I think
you got second place in Kings of the Storm.
I mean, I'm saying we'll probably win the game, but I'm not.
Are we going to see Murden?
You might not see Murden, but probably maybe Diablo. I don't know. Maybe the situation will arise, but probably the maybe Diablo and Hammer.
So somebody in chat, I don't know if this is legitimately a serious question, but they said, why would you choose Brightwing over Rhaegar when you had a Tychus?
Mostly because Promoted is a stupid ability right now, and if you give someone that has Abathur double promote or even triple promote,
all right, I'm back.
It's just
especially
insane.
with those. I was saying earlier today, we had one game that we were casting the Adwinians, and I was trying to point that out to Shane that like had actually really helped them win the game at that point because the promoting Catapults, as most people know, is incredibly powerful. They're ridiculous. They do so much damage, it's crazy. Like, so I can understand that choice. My question to you. Oh, go ahead.
Also, I think it may have been on Garden Terror, and she excels at that map because of the bribes and how many camps there are. So, another one.
Mm-hmm. Someone from chat is asking WarGreyMon. I tried to roll my tongue; it didn't work out too well. WarGreyMon. I don't know if this is what you just asked, Xander, because I quit for a secd. I'm back now. I quit the band.
Choose Brightwing over Rhaegar.
Okay, I was just about to ask that. Yep. Another question is, where'd it go? It was in chat. Now it's gone. Oh, tell us something about Zagara. What's your opinions on Zagara? Where do you think she fits in?
Yeah.
Why isn't she played more? Stuff like that. What's your opinion on Zagara?
So,
this question is from Mr.
Joey.
M_Blast. Thank you for the question.
Okay. So Zagara right now kind of suffers like the same thing from Hammer does. She doesn't have an escape, or she suffers from she doesn't have an escape. She's really squishy, but what she really excels at is single target damage and siege damage, and her ultimate, the Maw, can be used to like either get rid of the tanks that are attacking her, or get rid of the backline and then focus the tanks, and then hopefully win that team fight.
Okay.
Her vision controls pretty well since she has basically wards. I think she's a good champion, but I think other champions do better. I think if maybe we see number tweaks or change in meta, she might pop up. But she's already seen some. Like I know Arthlon plays her a lot.
Okay, yeah, I have to say, I think Arthlon and Faye are so good at that hero, man. I haven't casted Faye on Zagara in a while, but every time I do, she just lands the most moneyest of money Maws, like perfect Maws every time. I'm just like, all right. She actually lands 5-man Maws, which sounds awesome, but if you think about it, it really doesn't do much. It's like, their whole entire team is mod. Hold on.
Yeah, those
Okay, wait for him to pop up. Hold on.
My question to you
Hey!
actually, my question to you on that is actually is this: because of the fact that you cannot pull more people into Maw once it's already been cast, it functions pretty much the same as using a Void Prison. It's just not as instantaneous.
Yeah.
My question to you is, would you actually prefer the Maw to the Void Prison? Because I know a lot of the problems sometimes you see is if they Void Prison, it will give you position around the enemy team, but they can avoid a lot of shots and a lot of damage if they pick it up quickly and jump into it themselves.
Yeah.
But with Maw, they can't do that. They are immediately separated from the rest of the team. They're alone. Which would you rather see on your team comp, like what hero wise? Would you rather the Zeratul with what he has in his toolkit, or the Zagara with the Maw? Because I actually myself prefer seeing Maw because of that fact. Like people just save themselves by jumping into it.
Yeah.
So if depending on the team comp, obviously, I'd probably take a Zagara. She has a lot of early pressure in lane. She can take towers and walls down really early in the game. And again, the Maw is insane. It can just take someone out of the team fight while you kill the rest of their team. So or set up for a team fight. I hope maybe Nidus Worm maybe gets played. I've been screwing around with it in solo queue to see maybe if it'll work. But
I would love it for it to work. But
I think it has potential. I think
in my opinion, the refreshing cooldown of it needs to be lower. Or maybe she needs to have more charges. I feel like the cooldown on it is too long.
Or maybe she can put have a more max amount.
Yeah.
4 seems a little bit for what Nidus Worm is. I think 4 might be a little bit too low.
Oh my god! I just stubbed my toe and it hurt so bad.
But yeah, I think maybe if they increased to like maybe 6, I think that would actually make her more powerful for sure.
We're going to ignore the pain we're experiencing right now, gentlemen, and go back to questions. Flip-A-Coins has a good question and a very commonly asked question. I think this applies to all three of this, but we'll let you go first, Mr. WarGreyMon. His question is kind of the classic question for any newer game that is getting some traction. Thoughts on where Heroes of the Storm stands right now as an esport, money scene growth, etc. Where will it be in a year? WarGreyMon, go ahead. Lay it down.
So... from what I didn't go to BlizzCon, but when I was from what I heard and what I saw, the stage. I think if anything, the stage will for like live viewers. That'll be insane. Like apparently whenever a tribute spawned, like the entire room went purple or something. I think Xander, you were there maybe. Maybe
I wasn't there. Did that actually happen, Xander?
Are you muted,
Xander? Xander, you're muted.
Sorry, I had my mic muted. I'm sorry. I thought I unmuted it. I was saying several times, it was awesome. I loved it. I thought it was so sick. What I will say, what happened was every time there was an objective on the map, whatever the map was, they had 2 panels, big screens on the side, and they had like smaller screens on the bottom. And every time something would happen, huge effects would come up for those things. Like a golem would crawl its way out, like it does in the game, on the side of the on the side panels. It was great. The production value there was fantastic. Actually, one thing I've been talking about with people is even for BlizzCon and the rise of this game is like what Blizzard is going to do, because now they're adding Overwatch to the scene too. So they're going to need a stage for Overwatch. They had to double up Heroes with Warcraft. They're literally maxing out that entire convention center. I don't know what they're going to do because Heroes, in my opinion, is just going to keep growing. And that's why this is the rest of the question. So, but I was just expanding on what it was like at BlizzCon. It was amazing.
So like imagine like the Staples Center, like with that kind of stage and the effect like that brings. But I would say that Heroes will exceed pretty well. I think a lot of people that are new to watching it will understand it quickly. And if you don't know what's going on, I think also it depends on the casters as well. Like the ones at BlizzCon did a fantastic job.
Yes,
at explaining
they
everything
did a lot better than
while also commentating.
So, yeah, they did a solid job, man. I was very impressed with their knowledge and everything. It was very well job.
Well, they do make the game, so
yeah, that's true. They are actively working in the game, so I would hope they'd have a good knowledge of it. But still, overall, I was impressed with the casting.
So basically, I feel like the hero scene itself is doing it almost all it can to extend, and it basically we just need Blizzard once like times like all right, once everything is what like beta, like release tournaments they put on, like stuff like that. I think it's just basically up to them now. But I think
I'll give my 10 cents, my 2 cents, or probably Probably a little more than 2 cents. I don't know. It depends on how much my word is worth. I really don't know. Anyways, I think Heroes, obviously we can sit here and speculate about where it's going to be, but just looking at the facts of where it's gone over the past 6 months, I mean, the first Kings of the Storm, way back when.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yesterday, Saturday, we had 1,000 between the two, well, technically 3 channels, but standardized channel had like 15 people watching, which is fine, which is perfectly fine. I just love casting, but I'm not gonna be butthurt over it. But anyways, between the 3 channels, we had upwards of 1,000 to like 1,200 people watching. 2 months ago, it was like, we have 100 people.
Oh,
Yay!
my God.
You know what I mean? So if you're just looking at the growth that this game has had in just a half of year, and now you have the BlizzCon hype following up, so the numbers are going to start to grow. Obviously, as more people get into the game and start actually EA Sports, get into the game, they start to, obviously, the interest
God, don't even talk about that when we're talking about games that I enjoy. Please, can we not bring EA into this? I would really prefer just to let them do their thing somewhere else.
They make good games. Madden's a great game, Xander. Are you hating?
Okay, I'm hating. I will hate, dude.
Madden's a great game.
Yo, you know what? I studied game design. I dealt with a lot of these things, learned a lot of stuff about games and how they're developed, and it makes me sad. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right. I'm going to say Peyton Manning, worst quarterback in the league. Moving on.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Just throwing them out there. Anyways,
the growth that it has shown is exponentially more than I mean, the growth is just growing just so fast. Even if you just look at the numbers, numerically speaking, if it continues to sustain this like percentile of growth as time goes on, it's gonna be up there. It's gonna be. I mean, it already was. I mean, obviously BlizzCon is a somewhat of an exception, but we're seeing Heroes of the Storm. 2 months ago, to get to Heroes of the Storm on Twitch, you had to scroll, and now it's starting to hit like the 4th, 5th row.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
awesome.
mean, man?
I love it.
It's getting up there. I think once we hit January, we hit closed beta, more people start to get into the game. We see more heroes: Thrall, Jaina, Butcher, the new maps coming out and stuff like that. There's so much hype behind it. I hate that goddamn word hype, but I'm using it because it applies to this situation.
Yeah.
That I think we're going to be seeing by, I think this time next year's BlizzCon will be at least 5-digit prize pool tournament, at least 5 digits, possibly 6. I think 6 is pushing it. I think a 6-digit prize pool is pushing it, but I'm gonna say a 5-digit prize pool, BlizzCon 2015 with Taylor Swift as the musical performer.
Okay,
confirmed on stream.
That would be
confirmed on stream.
The biggest change ever to go from Metallica to Taylor Swift in the performing
would be amazing.
It would be ridiculous. What if they got them both to perform together?
Oh my God,
that would blow my mind.
Taylor Swift sang Metallica's redo of Bob Seger's song on a long, lonesome highway.
So to go over, quickly to go through because we have a lot of other questions coming in. I'm on the same boat as you guys. I totally agree that I think Heroes is just going to grow. It's going to keep growing exponentially. And down here, just to quickly go off of this, it's on the same note too. Clipic was saying, does Blizzard need to officially support Heroes and have a Blizzard tournament for it to be successful? Can the scene thrive on its own like they did with SC1 and CS? I want to say that I think absolutely. I mean, like that was their big thing with StarCraft. There was like, if this builds up with StarCraft 2, we'll help push it and we'll help give it room to breathe and to grow. They could take the same stand with what they're doing now, and they could give it that room to let it breathe and grow on its own. And people are going to get interested. People love the game. Everyone that comes in, really, I have friends from all across the board who had very strong opinions about the game, positive and negative, and have seriously come to love the game and think it's a lot of fun for several different reasons. So to go off of that too, I think absolutely they could support it or not support it. It's going to keep growing. And Blizzard has always said, they're like, if these things start to grow and you guys take hold of them, we will come in to give it the backing that it needs to continue growing. So I think that's probably the stance they'll take on that. I don't know what you guys think about that. So I
think the game has already had a lot of organic growth through the community without the support of Blizzard. Blizzard outright said, we don't want you guys... I mean, I don't think that's the case anymore, but they're like, we don't want you doing big tournaments. I don't know what the exact legality, but I know for a tournament to have a certain prize pool, they have to have the authorization to Blizzard. Once the prize pool goes over a certain amount, Blizzard can just be like, nope, shut it down, cease and desist, stuff like that. So if they want to do that, they have that option available to them if Blizzard It's just, I mean, it is their game, but at the same time, it's not an open source game by any means. But it's going to be free to play. I mean, I won't be surprised if you see Blizzard take some pages out of Valve and start doing the like open community sort of thing where the community helps develop skins and stuff like that. I would really like to see that.
That I would be surprised personally, because having followed Blizzard for so long, I know how like lock and key they are about everything being to the way that they want to see it, like their specific design stance. So that's what I love. That's one thing that I love about Valve. That like, I love both of these companies so much. I love Valve and I love Blizzard. They're probably my two favorite companies out there. And I would say that like Valve is always open to letting people try new things. And so they don't have necessarily one unified image of like who they are and what their games look like. Blizzard has that though. So they are very lock and key about it. However, opening up the forum to say like, we're developing this skin and this skin, which do you guys like more, which you want to see more, or be like a legendary skin, let us know. I can see them doing stuff like that, which would be awesome.
That's true. That's true. And they kind of already are doing that because they know, I mean, custom maps are going to be out there. So they are going to allow people
that I'm excited about.
Yeah, they are going to let people get hands on the custom maps. That'll be really cool. I mean, God knows what people are going to create because you know what was a custom map like a decade ago, right? Dota,
yeah, of course.
Dota and Aeon of Strife, which are the two games that pretty much defined the entire genre and the most popular genre of any game of all time between Dota and League of Legends, Dota 2 and League of Legends. Obviously, people are going to sit there and be like, League of Legends just came for... Dota was the original, and I'm not being opinionated here. This is fact. Whether you believe it or not, it's fact. The original Dota came from a custom game out of Warcraft 3, which was created originally by a guy of a name that escapes me. It wasn't Ice Frog. Ice Frog took control of it years after it was popular already. And it came from the community. It came from custom maps in Warcraft 3. And most of the heroes in both League of Legends and Dota 2 are like almost mirror copies from Dota. So the entire genre that we're playing right now, Here's the Storm, wouldn't even possibly be around if it wasn't for Blizzard going, hey, here's our maps, do what you want. Because it literally defines an entire genre of games, an entire style of games, and now are the most popular esports of all time.
Just as a side note to anybody who is still watching the stream who's out there, this show will 110%, and I'm going to head this myself. Shane, I've talked to you about this before too. We will be having a segment on this show where we will interview people who are the designers and developers of popular custom maps that are out there, talking to them about their design choices, why they made those choices, and what they were like what their ideas were behind that. As soon as that's out and available, definitely far down the line, but once it's here, we will be checking that out. I'm super excited and super supportive of that. That's how these games grow and help people. Having studied game design, I can tell you, that's how people get jobs. And it is so important to give those people credit for the work that they do and the time they put in for something that is literally completely unfunded for them. And they put a lot of design and time and effort into understanding how these games function, how these maps function. And I would love to support that in the community. So on this show, we'll talk to people and talk about the custom maps out there, give them some airtime so people can find out about them. To go back to our questions that people were asking, a little behind, so we'll try to go through these as quickly as we can. Cliptic asks, what do you think, or Shadowhawk rather asked, what do you guys think of mines? The comps really have changed based on the weird structure / objective of the map. And which heroes do you think are strongest?
So it's weird because most of the time, people in the competitive scene at least, the maps get banned. That map gets banned. It's mostly because it's easy to snowball off of. If you lose a fight in the mines, it's basically like if whoever wins that mines fight kind of wins the game. Comps, I think it's still like basically the same thing. Zagara is actually played a lot on that map. The fact that she can just drain the ammo and not have the actual golem take any damage from it is pretty insane.
Yeah.
And she synergizes so well with the golem in her pushy. She can push the wall and whatnot. So
this is just for me watching it, and this is me asking you this question too. What I've seen, and I was talking to Shane about this the other day when we were casting a match on that map. It seems like, as you were saying, that first golem has become so ridiculously powerful. That thing is flip flopped over the months of this game changing, where it's like it's viable, now it's not viable. It's just like it's now like that first golem is so strong, without a doubt you need to be going to contest that, because a 100 or like a 70-30 golem can be a really huge problem. So I see a lot of these teams that seem to go for this like early damage comps actually like really seem to be successful with that,
Kerrigan?
where they pick up like Kerrigan or Avala.
Which,
let's
I'm
say
sorry,
Tassadar,
destroyed you guys.
Who can clear the mine so quickly himself too. So a lot of these like high damage early clear compositions seem to be viable. What do you think of that? Also on that map.
Yeah. So like, it's also weird because it's also come to the point like if you get like a 60-40 golem, honestly, the people who push faster, like it's weird because you don't need a above 50 skull golem to win the
Right.
first mines, which is
Yeah.
I think the map needs to be almost like changed entirely. I think they need to like
I mean, what do you
redo
think
it.
maybe
Like,
about putting in another tier of towers?
maybe.
'Cause I've heard people talk about that. That will extend the game a little
They'd
bit
be
more,
so
so that way it doesn't
close.
snowball so hard. You know what I mean?
Their
No, I mean
towers
make
are
the
like 2
game,
feet
make
away.
the map bigger proportionally,
Mm-hmm.
right? But add another
Yeah.
tier of towers between the keep and the fort. Add another like tier 2 of towers. You know what I mean, man?
I think they should have just I thought the first mines that they had, I thought the top, or I guess the revamped version of the first mines on the top was good, and then that the underground now, I think that's would have been a pretty good map.
Okay.
But I don't. You probably won't see much mines or black hearts just because of how it's snowball they are,
Unbelievable.
right? That's why you see Symbio banning
I
mine.
watched
Or,
I watched Junu's stream last night, and he was playing with the Team Liquid guys, and all they were saying were quotes from Blackheart's Bay the whole match, and it just was stuck in my head the whole time. Unbelievable!
Unbelievable.
You almost lost, or it lost a fart. Like it's just, oh my god, it was just going through my head the whole time I was casting here today, and I was trying so hard
good.
not to say it.
So I think we'll jump to the last question here, guys, that we'll take for tonight. Flip a coin, asking another question, saying, and this is what the show's all about. Hopefully, trying to help educate people just
Exactly.
on another level. Best way to get competitively educated in HOTS. Any tricks to help players who can perform well mechanically but need to better understand builds or in comps? So anywhere you could expand on that for them.
So yeah, a lot of streamers like Soldier, Nick, a lot of those streamers, they're very friendly. You could go ask them. You can go ask them to play a champion. They for sure will.
Yeah.
ZP, all those streamers are very good.
Zuna. Check out
Zuna. Yeah, exactly.
His stream is actually really funny. Anyways.
He's a pretty funny guy. Also, if there's a bunch of VODs on YouTube, go watch those. There's HPL, ECS. What was the other one? The My Insanity tournament that happened a while ago. There's just a bunch of stuff you can go watch. You can watch the BlizzCon VODs. There's so many VODs up on YouTube right now. Yeah, honestly, just there's some build websites, but they're not many made by competitive people. I hope to start making some soon. But yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And you can also watch our show because we'll be bringing people on to talk about strategy.
Yes.
So definitely tune in here.
Yes, we will.
Check it out.
So yeah, guys, make sure you hit that follow button. Check out in the bottom if you guys are curious about who we are, what we're about. Obviously, check out our description. Xander and I are. This show is still in its infancies. Unfortunately, we had some problems today because for some reason I had all these cool images set up that I spent like 3 hours making, and then I tried putting them in XSplit, and they wouldn't work, and then for some reason they got corrupted.
Sad
so I had to
face.
just kind of like throw Milli Vanilli and MacGyver something up. So I apologize. We weren't up to the level that we wanted to as far as production goes. So I apologize about that, ladies and gentlemen. Again,
We've got it set up. It'll happen next time.
Exactly.
We
Next
promise.
time it'll happen. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I think we had about 80 people watching us consistently. So thank you guys so very much. Sander, what do you want to say?
WarGreyMon, if you could be so kind as to give any shout outs you'd like to give right now to
Yeah,
the crowd
absolutely.
and where they can find you and if you can watch your stream or whatever. Let them know.
So you can find me on Twitter at ESV_WarGreyMon. Shout outs to my manager, ESV Diamond, our
Yes,
sister
Diamond's
team.
cool,
Oh yeah.
Shout
Our
Diamond
sister
page.
team Nightmare, or our sister team Tempest. My team Wildfire. You can find all of our
This doesn't look like
tags at ESV Wildfire. And I stream over at twitch.tv/WarGreyMon with 2 Ys. So I'm gonna start streaming soon. So yeah, let's do it. That's all I got.
Awesome. So
And thanks to you guys. Yeah, thanks to you guys.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Awesome
Absolutely happy to have you guys on again. We want to be a place where people can learn just more strategy, sit down and talk to you guys, relatively informal, have a good time, just sit and talk about heroes, which we all love. I am Xander the Gamer, guys. You can check me out at Xander the Gamer on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Xander the Gamer. I will be streaming on a relatively regular basis now. I'm getting my schedule set up, so I'll be streaming again Mondays through Fridays. You can catch me there. You can catch Shane, who also streams, on his information. Shane, you want to let them know where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me on Twitch TV/Shane Gucher Gaming. You can also find Xander, as you said, on Xander the Gamer's channel as well. Both Xander and I are going to be doing a lot of stuff together in the very near future. I might stream tonight. My people are asking in chat if I was going to stream tonight. I am going to go get some food with the girlfriend after this. So if I do
definitely
stream,
need
it
to
won't
eat.
be until we haven't. And Xander and I have not had a chance to eat since 4
I had a big breakfast, but I haven't eaten at all
now
for the rest of the day.
midnight. So we haven't eaten in 10 hours. So we're pretty hungry. All right, Taylor Swift 2015 BlizzCon. Let's make it happen.
Be there,
guys.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Definitely, if you can support, hit the follow button so you know when we go live and know when we are doing this show. We'll be continuing to bring you episodes as much as we can. Any requests that you guys have too, just be sure to write them up here where you can send us. I believe we still have the email set up. So if you want to send a request or players you'd like to see or talk to or hear from or have us sit down with, send an email to heroesrewind@gmail.com. That's our email. Send us the message there. We'll bring people on that you might like to see, might like to hear from. Besides that, you can catch any of these episodes at youtube.com/heroesrewind. All of our episodes will be up there. This one should be up tonight or tomorrow. We'll get it there. And from going forward, all of them will be there. Apologies, the first one was not there. But thank you so much, guys, for showing up. Oh, next showtime, Shadowhawk was asking. Just want to let you guys know. Shane and I have, Shane has a very all over the place schedule. He does a lot of work. He's a busy guy.
I'm in the medical field. I'm sorry.
He helps people.
He's trying to get his schedule set up. We are hoping that from now on we'll be able to do this on Thursdays for you guys.
And Mondays.
We're hoping Thursdays and Mondays. We're gonna hope to do that, but we're gonna try to get a specific day set up one of these soon. So we'll be posting on that. Follow our Twitter. Follow our YouTube. Follow both of our Twitters too. We'll be sending it out there too. You can follow Twitter.com/heroesrewind, and we'll be letting you guys know when they go live. But they should be next Thursday. Will be the next episode for you guys, so you can catch us there. But besides that, thanks guys so much for being here. Thank you, WarGreyMon, for being here as well, and for being a great Heroes player. We very much appreciate it. The rest of Team Wildfire, thank you so much, and ESV Tempest as well. Happy to have you guys on. Happy to talk to you about some heroes. That's it for me. Shane, you have anything else to say?
No, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that follow button. Stay tuned. And we love you guys, and we'll make sure you follow Heroes Rewind on Twitter and ourselves on Twitter as well, as that is where we're going to post about our next show and what our show is going to be about and stuff like that. So keep an eye on that, guys. Thank you so very much. We love you. We're going to have a good night. We're going to go have a good night. I hope you guys have a good night, and thank you so very much.
You stay classy, San Diego.
Stay classy, Heroes of the Storm and Twitch TV. Stay
classy.
Internet.
Hi, I'm from Ukraine. I go now with Rewind. Great show. Love very much. All right. Good time. Good time.
Bye.
Are we done?